Are you ready? Check your reality.
The comments and opinions of this program may be considered offensive. Viewer discretion is advised.
He's bald.
He's cranky.
Dude, Jeff Bezos is real world Dr. Evil. He's bald, he's cranky, he's got billions, he's got a penis-shaped rocket, and he does not give two fucks about anybody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for real though.
but this is what I wonder about Jeff Bezos.
Is
When
he one
you-
of the lizard people turning the frogs gay? Absolutely.
No, when he orders his
I
ED
agree with you.
when he orders his ED supplement off of Amazon, does he get a discount?
Shut up.
He probably just makes his intern go to one of the warehouses and grab it.
Oh man.
Number one.
Oh.
Here's my shopping list
Yes.
Right? Go to my warehouse.
that number two wrote for him.
Right?
I mean,
Well, number
if
three
you had
speculated.
billions upon billions upon billions of dollars, what would you guys do with it?
Honestly,
Honestly.
I would start an airship company. Making transport with airships.
All right.
Instead of going through ocean and land and having to go from boat to truck to train to da-da-da-da-da, I just have an airship that just do-do-do-do-do makes it.
All right. Now, are you talking about like a blimp airship, or are you talking about what type of airship?
Probably more something along the lines of like a dirigible.
All right. A dirigible is very good. I like the design. It's very easily maintained and easy to control.
Mhm.
So.
And I'd probably use lighter than air inert gases.
Yeah.
What would you do?
What would I do? Honestly,
Probably
to
make
tell you the truth, what I would do if I had billions upon billions upon billions of dollars, or just if I had as much money as Jeff Bezos.
And billions upon billions. All right, I got you.
If I had money like Jeff Bezos, I would go ahead, buy me a house. I wouldn't rent anymore. I'd buy a house. I'll be honest. I'd buy a house.
Oh yeah. So
But
yeah.
But it wouldn't be some big old mansion or this or that or
I wouldn't buy a
whatever.
mansion, but I would buy a big house so
I-
that every one of my main family could have their own wing.
I would just buy.
Like, Forrest would have a wing. My kids and I would have one.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Kimmy would have hers.
No.
If I could get my shipping empire big
Buy
enough,
a cooking house way out there across the field. Yeah.
if I could get my shipping company big enough, after that I had a good, decent fat loads of income coming. I start buying up farmland in competition with Bill Gates, and then
I
I
was
started
just thinking about
awarding it to promising homesteader farmers.
I would pull the same shit that I was just thinking that too, because I was also thinking about the forestry stuff. Like I would basically buy out this Forest Service
Right.
and help them actually maintain the forests properly.
Would you still call it the Bureau of Land Management?
No,
What would you call it?
the Forestry Service. American Foresters.
Lorax Incorporated.
Lorax Incorporated.
There we go.
Probably have to talk to Mr. Seuss or Mrs. Seuss or the descendants of Seuss.
Probably.
Yeah.
I got billions. It'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll rent the
Just
rights for a few years
Yeah.
until it becomes. Wait, is it open? Oh, come on, Brad.
Oh,
Open-
come on.
open
You can
source?
go ahead and buy the patent on it. Or the trademark. I mean,
That's what I
on
would do.
it.
Buy the trademark.
If the
buy the
investment,
trademark.
if the
you buy
investment's right.
If you buy the rights to that, then you can go ahead and say, hey,
And then I would super promote Dr. Seuss in the process.
right.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd start undermining major resources that people use on a regular basis. I'd start kind of undermining and genericizing
Me, myself.
toothpaste
But
and
dude,
stuff.
between you and I both doing that thing against Bill Gates, do the same stuff he's pulling.
Get everything just kind of I don't know, cheaper for people with the inflation getting really crapped out. If I had $1 billion, I'd probably start working on trying to get that fixed because we already have enough issues going on, like the mass amounts of crop failures.
Right. See now.
Reminds me of Robin Hood.
Right?
Yeah,
It does.
definitely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well,
You
I
could be
would
Little
do.
John. I want to be Robin.
You want to be Robin Hood?
I always want to be Robin. My brother and I used to fight over that part. I want to be Robin Hood.
No, you can be Little John.
That's when you look at him and go, "You're fatter than me. You're Little John."
Never said that. Okay, wait. I might have. Bad I wanted to be Robin. We were both beanpoles back then, dude.
Oh man.
I look at our pictures and like, we're just twigs.
It is the way of the beanpole.
It is.
I was like a beanpole until I hit like 14, and then I inflated just intensely
Oh yeah.
until like 19, 20, and then I deflated again.
Right?
That's good.
You know, that's funny because I kind of did that too.
I can tell you a story about being a
I was chips and
beanpole.
soda, and like hot dogs and cheeseburgers and tacos
Right?
and pizza.
I did all that, and then I had kids.
Oh
And I don't
man.
know where it went. It was just like, bye.
I miss the flesh.
Here's a good story about being a beanpole. I was 18 years old,
Uh-huh.
already on the delayed entry program for the Marine
If you
Corps.
saw his son, dude,
Oh yeah.
his son's being pulled like he was.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I was 124 pounds, and I was enlisted to go into the Marine Corps. And I found out later on, with like less than a month to go, that if I couldn't put on at least another 3 pounds, I had to be a minimum of 127 pounds to enlist. If I didn't put on at least another 3 pounds, I wasn't going to make it into the Marine Corps. Man, I was trying to gulp down everything I could get my hands onto, and I kept weighing myself day after day after day, and I wasn't gaining any weight. I was like, holy. I went ahead and I ate profusely when it came time for weigh-in at the ASFAB up in Portland. When, or the, what they call that, not ASFAB. ASFAB is the test you take at the
Med Center?
MEP Center. MEP Center. Military Entrance Processing System. Anyway, when I was up there, I got a chance to eat dinner the night before. I got a chance to eat breakfast the day of, and we was right next to this great little restaurant, and they said you can order as much as you want. It all goes to the Marine Corps. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna have like 2 orders of everything, and I ate it. And then I sat there, and we had to go straight from there back to our rooms at the hotel, grab our stuff, our belongings, take off to the MEP Center. Well, once we got to the MEP Center, they started processing all of us in. Finally came time for weigh-in. I weighed 128 pounds. I barely made it by 1 pound.
I mean, whatever's clever, I guess.
Yeah. When I came out of boot camp, I was weighing 146. So they put some weight on me. A lot of muscle on me. I really appreciated that. I had some muscle before, but I mean, they put the muscle on me.
The heavier muscle
Heavier
rather
muscle.
than lean muscle.
Right. So, but yeah, I was a skinny beanpole of a guy. Now I got the
We
dad
started
bod.
bulking out in high school. 'Cause
Okay, I got the grandpa bod.
Grandpa bod. Right? You do. It's good on you.
I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
You look like
Crazy
a
old
grandpa.
man. Yeah, you do.
I have 8 grandkids. I'm proud of each and every one of them. I wish them all the best.
He's a crazy old man.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
I'm still a crazy old man. Won't ever doubt. Won't ever stop. Won't, you know, if something can be said inappropriately at the most inappropriate time, that's me.
That's
Yeah,
a
that's
good kind of
definitely
grandpa to be. It's alright. Oh, apologies.
How
Oh,
dare you?
got another beer.
How dare
Thank you for being understanding
Yeah.
in these trying times.
Damn it, Forrest! Give me back my beer.
Nay.
Wasn't me this time.
Your nuptials are crusty and your mother knows about it.
And my father smells of elderberries.
Yes.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Oh, yeah. I want one of those mixer programs.
Mixer programs?
Yeah, so I can make music and shit.
Oh, okay. You mean FL Studio? Yeah.
We got one of them thingamajigs.
I think we have some. We have something.
So
like
can
that.
we can make our own recordings, right, and then put them in there?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's how I did
That's
the
how you
intro.
do it.
Yeah. We could also do sound effects with it and stuff like that.
Hoot and cat. Hoot and
I'm gonna
cat.
be over here like,
Cat.
Like, honestly, we could record a bunch of, like, really weird noises and turn it into a song.
Oh yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
We
We can play
could-
weird noises on the guitar for sure.
We could take a series of
I
belt.
have- Back in the 70s on the radio, they would play certain songs that it would sound like an interview on the street, you know. Hey, we just ran across Billy Joel. How are you feeling right now?
I feel horrendous. My pancreatitis is kicking in.
And they would play a clip, something like, I'm on fire. Okay, you need to stop, drop, and roll. Who else can we get to interview today? How about you, miss? How are you doing today? I'm doing all right.
Mix it into a song.
Yeah.
This is how they created disco. Oh.
I was thinking of you earlier today.
What?
I thought
Yeah,
of this all day
doing the
yesterday
Jesus
for half a day.
service.
No, actually, it was only for like an hour. I was at the church watching a play, and their backdrop was like this pirate ship, but there was the lifesaver on it, so
Right.
Jesus saw us.
My hero.
Jesus, he serves you. He loves you. Really? Jesus, do you love me? No. You lied to me. Go away.
You're a liar. That's not more Asian than anything. You liar. You
Talk
come
about
into
my
my
mom?
store all the time.
Talk about my mom like that.
You come into my store all
Ma!
the time. I have to watch you all the time. You and your friends. You always come in here.
Oi,
It's not that you steal
you
from
shut
me.
up.
It's that you pay
Don't talk
me in
about
all
my
these
mom
weird
like that.
coins.
I hit you with my flip flop.
Oh no, nothing blip flop.
Hey, and I go. Did you hit me? Yeah, Ma, I heard you. You like your father. What? Okay, that's fine. You're just like your father.
Oh man.
She's told me that my whole life. Yeah, Mom.
You know,
I heard you when I was 5. Okay.
I got thinking about the concept of race earlier.
Oh, shoot.
I know. Concept of race really has no place, really, in the human race. And I did
No.
not mean to rhyme that, honestly. It's just
Yeah.
kind of popping out into my head. But really,
I'm turning it into a song.
it doesn't have any medical value.
No.
It doesn't have any. It doesn't
I
have
know
any
it's-
like identity value
It was
either.
created
No.
by the Spanish king, what was it, 1500?
King Philip II,
Yes, King Philip II.
who colonized the Tagalog Islands, which is still
Uh-huh.
known to as the Philippines to this day.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where they got their name.
Or it's just like it was
Before
white
that,
people that
they-
did it. What kind of white people?
They
All the
basically
white
wiped
people.
out
That's
their
racist.
culture too.
That's racist.
Completely
Yes.
wiped out their culture.
Yes.
Yes.
They
And now everybody literally blames the wrong white people.
R-A-P-E-D.
Yes.
They blame
and
the
our-
Europeans, but it was the
and
Spaniards.
It was the Spaniards. And before that, they had actually been run by China, but you gotta remember this was like way back before
Right.
China was ever communist or anything. Their culture was very different.
Right.
Well,
from-
they still had a lot of like kingdoms and dynasties and
They
stuff
did,
like that. It was,
but their culture itself was completely different.
part of that
That
also
was
had
when
to
they
do
were
with
still
their
very.
Right.
lack of technology and demographics.
See, I still remember the standoff.
There's an article in the paper about it too.
There's
Oh,
a
right.
article in the paper.
There's
Yeah,
the
hand me the
paper
paper real
right
quick.
there.
Cause
This paper?
yes.
No, I was there one day during the
I don't know
Tiananmen
if
Square
this is the right section.
standoff
There's an
when that
article in
college
here about.
stood there in front of the tank.
According to China,
Yeah.
that didn't happen.
Oh, it happened.
Oh, I know. My teacher taught us about it because he said that China shouldn't be trusted and we should know what kind of atrocities they've done because they shouldn't be trusted.
Right. Now, does that mean we're prejudiced or racist against Chinese?
Oh, hell no. I like Chinese
No.
people. I like Chinese culture.
I
I hate
love
the fact that the
Chinese
CCP
people's
wants to
culture.
get rid of the Chinese culture because of how much it has to do
Yes.
with Buddhism and religion, and
Mhm.
they're
And that's what I'm talking about.
like forced atheists.
They were still very much strong in their Buddhist ways
Mm.
back then. And that's the culture that they want to erase.
Well, sure, because that culture's
And
against
then the Spanish
uprooting
took
the
over
land.
the Philippines. And that was before CCP was ever
Yeah.
a
Plus,
thing.
Right.
a lot of Buddhism is about
So-
harmony with like the land and heaven.
And the closest they can trace it back to is that would be considered what the Filipinos were natively was very similar from what they can find is the ultimate they. Is
The ultimate they.
what they can find about the original culture of the island was very similar to Hindu.
Yes, but that also begs the question: who inhabited the Philippines first? 'Cause, I mean, it was probably Catamaran era that they got over there.
Right.
Because that was the same, if I remember correctly, that was the same era that people started getting to like Hawaii and stuff too.
Right.
We were like Moana and her family
Yeah.
before they stopped at Hawaii.
Except,
Yeah.
And I got scared.
Or
They
slips and
disrespected
runs.
the gods.
Oh.
don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
speaking of gods,
disrespected the gods. Oh,
So I
I
got
gotta hear
thinking-
this
I
story.
got ancient gods on both sides, man.
Oh,
I've got,
yeah.
before I hear the story, I've got a quick question. So, if gods or a god is the ultimate being, right? And there is no higher power above them, right?
Right.
So they can't believe in a higher power. Does that mean that gods are atheists? Because they are the highest power. They can't believe in a higher power above them. They're atheists. How's that for? How's that
Is that
for?
for a brain twister?
How's that for a little paradox? If
Well,
you are
they-
the ultimate power, then
Right.
you cannot believe in a higher power. So
No,
therefore,
but
if you're the
you
highest
have a-
power, you're
You have an ultimate perception of self-awareness.
Like when you take shrooms.
Yes.
still makes me
I was
atheist.
listening
And
to a movie about
our
that the other day.
psilocybin is now available to all people here in Oregon. So
Oh,
just a shout out for Oregon. Hey, come and visit.
Yeah, except the
Increase
problem
our
is
tourism.
they're like, oh,
Stay
along
and
with
help us
that,
take
we're
down
gonna
Cape Brown.
put in another bill that legalizes small amounts of what should be illegal drugs, your chemical enhanced drugs like meth, cocaine, heroin. They can carry usable amounts in
I
their pockets.
think that's because what they're
they
doing is
gotta find.
they're slowly working on.
Yeah, they simply get a fine. That's less than if I got caught without a seatbelt.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think what they're doing is they're actually trying to work away from having it criminalized and working towards having it labeled as something that somebody who is mentally unsound that does. So instead of punishing them, they can put them in a facility that's going to get them off the drug.
Yeah, except Cape Brown
Right.
doesn't know how to do that part of it.
No. Well,
See now,
maybe some of her advisors do. She'd probably just copy somebody, and there's other places that do it. So there's some hope for her. She can at least put one dot to another dot. You know
they
what?
ruined
No,
Space Jam.
they only ruin it if you let it ruin it. If you let it ruin it, I'm just not gonna watch it.
I'm not gonna watch it.
I'm
just
not gonna
I'm
watch
just
it.
gonna enjoy
I
the old
mean,
They ruined Space Jam.
yeah.
How did they ruin Space Jam?
They canceled all the funny.
They canceled all the funny
Yeah.
characters?
They canceled
Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Pew.
Real Iglesias because it was considered racist to have a Hispanic partake in a
That's
That's
the woke
culturally
community.
appropriating.
Right.
The mouse is.
Well, let's see if this
Hippocratic
makes
conditioning.
much sense in the woke community here for a moment.
Hippocratic conditioning.
It's
Mhm.
racist for a Hispanic person to portray a Hispanic character that's a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's not racist to select a basketball player because of their skin color.
People walked out.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people walked out within the first 20 minutes.
Oh, although I did see an ad for another movie today that I was kind of like, they're gonna ruin it.
What's
And at the
that?
same time, I was like, but I want to see it. It's a new Ghostbusters movie.
Oh,
It's
yes.
like
You
the
know the
grandkids
movies-
of the Ghostbusters.
The movies that get produced nowadays are probably going to get like categorized and put into history books as different eras, like representation of ideologies that are trying to get pushed in different eras. Because I mean, they already do that now with earlier Hollywood.
It's
stuff.
gonna be called the ideological era.
The ideological era,
Yeah.
In like 100 years, that's what they're gonna call it.
Yeah.
the propagandic push.
The ideological revolution.
The great socialist push for America. They'll probably call it that. In the,
You know, honestly, the more I've been
The
seeing
ideological era,
stuff,
though.
yeah,
I'm wondering if all these
ideological,
socialistic kind of like thoughts and plans and stuff they're trying to get
It's
in
like-
place have anything to do with like how messed up our resources are getting.
So I have a weird metaphor.
Okay, I gotta hear this one.
The world, the human species in a whole, is like a teenager
Yes.
Yeah,
that's learning to mature as a culture and a species, and yet they're so freaking confused. They have no idea what they're doing with their lives.
right. Not only
ultimate
that,
The ultimate they.
here's a metaphor to go with yours. Is that we're going through that puberty stage.
It's like
and
just after, like, you've had puberty for a couple of years.
we're right,
Around like 16, 17. You know?
right.
Yeah.
That awkward stage.
Super awkward.
Not trying to fit in or trying to find a place to fit in.
Where do we fit in? Into nature.
Yep.
And people have forgotten that we are part of nature.
Mm.
Are you calling me a dirty animal?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You dirty dog, you. No.
Get your hands off me, you
Uh-huh.
filthy
I'm like a super monkey lemur thing with like the eyes of a bird.
With the eyes of a bird.
ape.
It's like, ah, twitch.
I see the eye twitching. Oh no.
Dude, I gotta do it. Stretches more.
Stretches?
Yeah.
Like yoga?
Kind
You can always do angry yoga.
Oh, I do that.
Yeah.
You do angry yoga? I'm just talking about like stretching.
I remember. No. I remember back in '02. No, I'm just kidding.
So, the CCP is trying to cancel this show.
The CCP
It started
is
in
trying to
New York.
cancel everything.
Yeah, they're trying to cancel it. But,
Oh, okay.
the show
yes.
that, they perform all around the world, and they do, like, traditional Chinese, dance
And art
stuff
and
like that,
plays.
yeah. and, really trying to highlight the ancient culture
Right.
of China.
Their history.
And so, huh?
Their history.
Yeah,
Right.
they're trying to portray Chinese history.
Right.
And they do a fantastic job of it, apparently.
Right,
So
right,
now I want
right.
to go to a show.
Okay.
And now I can't find the article. It's in there somewhere.
Okay.
But it's in that
I remember
same
coming across that show.
It's in
Hard
that-
Times one that...
Right.
It was one of the shows that China wanted to cancel because it doesn't. They say it pulls away from modern Chinese values.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but
Because modern
It might-
Chinese values are...
I can understand that it's
Full of
it's
hate.
different than what modern Chinese values are, but at the same time, this is a beautiful portrayal of their history and their culture. So, if they don't want to represent that, why? I'd question everything with why.
Mhm.
Are you afraid that
They're
the
not.
Chinese people will
You know, and
actually
it reminds
remember
me
freedom?
of when the Christians took over in the Celtic lands, how much they changed.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
taking bits and pieces to get people used to it, you know, and
Mhm.
stealing the culture of the Celts, which is interesting too because when you look into culture of the Celts and the culture of the Native Americans,
Right.
they're very similar. Very similar.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the gods' names are similar to the Norse gods.
Right.
Like Odin is Woden,
Right.
Thor is Thorin.
Depending on which historian you go
And it
by,
depends on- yeah.
the timelines vary. In my opinion, they showed up pretty close to the exact same
Pretty
time.
close.
Right. Right. Well, if you go back and you examine all religions, they all kind of go based on their particular knowledge level and skill level
When
at
they
that particular
study
time.
the names of gods
Right.
throughout all ancient culture, their sort of king of their gods
Mhm.
always means, or almost always means, Skyfall.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then his wife typically translates to Earth. So you have your Sky Father and your Earth Mother
Right.
who created it.
That's
Which
because
actually makes
deep
sense.
down, I'm pretty sure.
Even as if Christian people, I'm like, why doesn't this make sense to you? How is it any different from your God
Right.
taking from the earth to make you?
Yeah.
I think that's because people realize that it first took the sun and then the earth to make humans. I think deep down everybody knows that.
Right.
Even before they do it, they just felt it.
Now, in my current state of mind, I start to wonder: does that mean like we could possibly like be some spore somewhere else in somebody else's universe?
That, I believe, is called the theory of transpermia.
Yes.
And that's essentially where our life on our planet and life on pretty much all other planets started off by something somehow hopping from planet to planet. If that was either microbes on hitching a ride in ice on meteors, or if it was aliens coming over and crashing, or what.
Right.
Something, that's the theory that something seeded planets.
So the truth is, none of us really know.
Yes.
A lot of us think we know, but we have no idea.
We have no
Right?
idea.
But I
No,
think,
they've got pretty good.
but
They've
I
got
think
pretty
that
good
we all
fossil
have
records
a
that
similar
go back.
feeling
They've got
inside of us,
Right.
they've got pretty
which
good.
is another thing.
They
sorry.
have really good fossil records going all the way back,
Yes,
going
that's
back
true.
to when the most complex life on our planet was just abnormally complex chemical processes that caused something to move, gain energy from a fuel source, create an exhaust, and move on. The most baser biological machinery.
I don't know. Years ago, I came up with a theory, and I was discussing it with a young gentleman one night, and because he goes, Bert, well, because he was questioning, religion. His parents were very religious, and he thought, about being very, he had questions. I said, dude, it's up to you whether or not, if you want to believe in something like that. It's also up to you to, try to think back throughout civilization. The way I see it is that we probably came on slave ships because this is how society goes. We was probably involved in the slave trade somewhere in the galaxy. We came on over here to mine precious minerals and resources. And what happens when we do stuff like that? Well, we fill up their holds with all this material that we mine. There's no room for us. They don't care about us. They leave us to die and take off.
But
We
survived.
We survived. Yeah. And that's what happens. And as our temperatures have varied over the millennia.
I'm pretty sure we evolved from stuff.
Oh yeah.
There was a
You
time
think?
period when there was like 37 different species of hominid, and
Right.
humans succeeded because we could breed the fastest.
Right.
Or we bred the fastest. We bred with everything. We outbred the competition.
Right. Well, yeah.
And then once we did that, we started getting into agriculture and stuff. And then we really outbreaded them with actual bread.
Right.
With actual, and then we sliced it.
Yeah, and then we sliced it.
Yeah.
But that didn't
She's
come
too-
until the era of
And
Betty
Betty
White.
White is still older and still alive to this day.
What if she's a lizard person?
Dude, I believe it.
Whether she's a lizard person.
What if Betty White's a lizard person?
What if she
Doing-
goes
I don't
through like
know.
some sort of complex medical process? Guys, I mean,
Maybe-
there is this
Maybe
huge,
she has a secret.
there is this huge medical industry about kind of like these backdoor deals with
Underground.
kind of not really illegally, but it's real shadily how they harvest these human body parts and stuff like that.
Right.
And I mean, it's like, super anti-aging formula that's made from hormones from baby skin. It's
Yes.
usually taken from foreskins. That's why they push circumcision so much, is because there's stuff in the foreskin that actually heals and repairs certain things no other way other than baby skin can, because they're so plentiful in certain types of chemicals and
Right.
hormones.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
And-
some weird
and that's
conspiracy
explained-
theories around.
Oh,
that.
Conspiracy?
well, that.
Freaking what's his face had a host.
I know,
What was it? It was Steve Harvey. That's right. Steve Harvey had that one lady.
but you notice they try to keep it
Right.
because I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
For education purposes.
For educational purposes only.
If it works for Big Pharma, it works for us. It's for educational purposes.
Right. So
And this is our own personal opinions and commentaries, and neither any entity that is viewing it or is broadcasting it is liable for its contents.
Entities.
I mean, I'm not a
pronoun neutral. Oh my gosh, so is fucker.
I'm not like a scientician or
A scientician.
mathematician or anything.
Math magician, scientician, rocket surgeon, super.
I'm Jobman.
I'm a rock and roll magician.
Rock and
Is
roll
that a
magician?
thing? It is now.
Could be.
Yeah, I like to rock and roll. Dude, I got a nasty bruise from one.
Oh man, I
This dude
bet.
was like drunk and just one of those that's like ramming into people and being really stupid. Kind of
Isn't that
ruining
like-
it for everybody else.
But isn't that the point?
It is to an extent.
Well, to dance, but also to like throw a little aggression.
Oh, okay. It's just
But like when
warning.
you're just literally being a total dick and trying to knock everyone over because
Right.
you're big and heavy and drunk, go sit down.
Yeah,
Probably hop on his back and try to.
I actually had my nose busted open and bleed.
Oh no.
I had this
Yeah.
cool bruise though.
That's cool. See,
And I got up and pushed him. And he was one of those that like he started to go down and then he got all mad. Of course, he was too drunk to figure out who actually pushed him. He had already pushed like 5 people. He knocked me into the freaking railing. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
The rudeness.
I cannot stand this rudeness.
Good sir, you have
Preposterous.
offended me. Feel the thrust of my forearms.
Indeed.
Yes.
That
And
sounds
taste thy
good.
elbow.
Good sir, I would beat thee, but I fear infecting mine own hand. That was Shakespeare. Pretty sure that was Shakespeare who said that. I would beat thee, but I fear infecting mine own
I think
hand.
so too.
Yeah.
That little shake.
If it wasn't Shakespeare, it should be. Which also, I don't know if you've ever researched this or heard about this.
Oh jeez.
Because we was talking about conspiracy theories earlier and everything.
Educational.
For educational purposes
Plastic
only.
bags.
There's a
Plastic bags.
conspiracy theory going around that William Shakespeare helped write the New Testament. And to prove their point, what they do is they take and they count, because he was, 46 years old. They take and they count 46 words from the beginning and 46 words from the end of Matthew, the first book of the New Testament. That 46 word that you come across when you count from the beginning is shake. The 46 word that you come back from the end is spear. So, yeah.
He would do something like that.
But yeah, I mean, he was a genius. I could see him doing something like that. But
There's
that
so
was
many
a
words
big
that he
conspiracy
made up,
theory
too.
going on
Like,
about that.
There should have been a Shakespeare dictionary. There probably was back in the day.
Right,
is.
right.
because there's so many words that he is there still.
Yeah, bandit's one of them.
Yeah, there's so many words that we still use today that he made up.
Oh yes.
Unequivocally.
Yeah.
Yeah, but most of our words are based on Latin, and I think that's
German
kind
and French.
yeah.
Latin, German, and
also
Dutch.
See,
pretty-
now that's
they're
what makes
pretty Latin
American
based.
English
Not
different
German.
from
Not German.
all.
No, but French. So
There's another thing that I've heard. I don't know if it's a true conspiracy. It's really just kind of hearsay that I've heard multiple times,
Right.
especially back when I was doing Civil War reenactments.
Right.
Is that during the Revolutionary War and before the Revolutionary War, the English, like UK English, actually talked like we did. It wasn't until after they lost to us that they started changing how they talked, so that way they would not be affiliated with us, and then started saying that the way that we talk is how hillbillies talk.
Oh, yeah, because we're the peasants. Remember, we're the
Yeah, we're just a bunch of despondent peasants.
yes.
so we're good then. Yes. Oh.
Well, you know, if you look at the way the society is built today, we're still built on a serfdom society.
Yes.
And think about it, because we have our low class workers. Do we eat the same thing as the high class workers?
I've known a lot of rich people that eat Burger King.
Okay.
This is true.
Yeah, that's true.
And Taco Bell.
Well, we
Rich
eat
people
in
are
a
typically
French
pretty
laundry.
frugal.
Now, how come a lot of us down here aren't eating caviar daily or nightly or
Because it's gross.
just to have a snack on? No, caviar is good.
I was gonna say something, but
I
it's
have-
probably not appropriate for
Yeah, I
you.
was gonna say I have my own comments swirling through my head, but I'm just like, nah. I mean, if we want to post this, can't.
No, but you know we don't eat a lot of caviar. I've had a caviar before in my life. I rather like it. I think
had
it's
shark.
a wonderful topping on top of a saltine cracker.
Shark is good.
Shark. I've never had shark.
Shark is good.
Where did you eat shark?
I have
Brought it one time.
Are you sure it was shark?
He worked at fishing in Alaska.
wow. That's pretty cool. See, you know, this is what I love about America. We have the freedom to do whatever we want in life.
Kind of.
Kind of. You know,
What's
if
liberty? And what is
you
liberty?
can afford it.
Remember what liberty is? Freedom with discipline.
Yes.
It's a very simple way to put it.
Yeah.
Three-word explanation. Freedom with discipline.
Yes.
Doesn't take a genius to figure it out.
No. And if you can't understand that basic principle, then why do you keep
Then
falling
your
back
parents
on it saying,
Failed somewhere.
oh my gosh, she's violating my First Amendment rights to speak what I want to say. And I feel
yet I'm gonna
offended.
cancel you because
Yeah.
you
right.
called me he instead of they.
Right.
Or it.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is not a thing.
It's not, yeah, unfortunately.
Like, are you serious?
But yeah,
Oh, don't forget the Z's and the Zers. You heard about those?
I think I have. Because I remember hearing about it, but I don't
And then
remember looking
there's
it up.
a quote unquote gender neutral name for nieces and nephews now.
Oh, jeez. What do we call them?
You're not gonna believe this.
Was a
Pork and pork pie?
Nibbling.
oh a nibbling, huh?
It's like a sibling, but with an N at the beginning.
Oh my gosh,
But how wrong does that sound?
And
that
nibbling?
sounds so wrong.
Sounds like a snack.
And I mean, this isn't just people that are talking that are from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and
I'm in 30s.
you're
I'm a
mid
90s
30s. You're a 90s kid.
Straight up.
You're 2000s
I'm like
baby,
1 year,
or you're late 90s
or
baby.
maybe 2
Yeah,
years.
way late 90s.
Yeah, way late 90s.
I'm like 2 years ugly of being
Right.
from Generation X.
Okay.
So I think that's why I clash so much with a lot of quote unquote millennials. Because technically
Right.
I am millennial 8.
Right.
But they be stupid, bro. They be so stupid.
At least your generation wasn't remembered for eating Tide Pods.
Freaking, I know you're in the Tide Pod generation.
Yes. And snorting condoms. Let's not forget the snorting condoms.
Pixie sticks, too.
Yeah.
Oh, we started the Pixie Sticks
Yeah.
Thanks.
and hot cocoa.
Oh, jeez.
I knew people that did that. I never did either.
Fly, be free. It's a fairy.
It's a wisp. Hey, don't dump the wisp.
Oh, oh, I thought you fly, be free, my little friend. All right. Anyway, so.
Who the wisps are made of fiber?
No, see, now we never did any of that stuff back in the 70s and 80s.
What? What, on the internet?
Well, porn on the internet is one thing we
No,
never
what
did.
on the internet?
No,
The internet is for.
the internet is for porn. The internet is for
I
porn.
remember when that was a thing, and somebody made a WoW video out of it.
Yes, they did. No, anyway, we were more the generation that we were allowed to take rifles to school, to high school.
Right,
And
like
with
my
those
brother started
rifles,
going
they
to
had
school just
fishing
as they
poles
wouldn't
and-
allow pocket knives. Because I remember
Right.
him almost getting in trouble. You're getting suspended almost for that.
Right.
Well,
Because he forgot it.
plus,
Take it out of his
people
backpack
forget
at the
about,
camp
I
out.
can't remember where it was, but there was a school where they got a warning about an armed gunman,
Right.
and the cops were several minutes out, but apparently the guy was already there, so all the high schoolers and teachers went out and got their rifles and guns and shit out of their trucks and cars,
Right.
and went back in and posted up in the school.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And the guy decided to bail.
I
Yeah,
don't
you
know
think?
why.
Gee, huh. That's what happens in an armed society?
That's right. They have
Nice.
the right to protect yourself. And that is a right.
Everyone has a right to.
Yes. To protect yourself
Mhm.
and to protect your property. That's yours. You worked hard for it.
See, if vegans
They
believe in
emphasized on that, what was-
self-preservation
which,
that strongly, why don't they like guns?
Which amendment was it? Was it 14?
14th Amendment.
Are you sure? Alright, see how this is.
What are you what point are you trying to get across?
There was an amendment where they stated it more specifically and emphasized on the fact that you can protect your property.
Right.
Yes.
And it happened right after the slaves were freed, because as they started accumulating their own property, and this didn't just happen in the South,
They happened all over.
it happened all over, where they were ridiculed and driven out of their homes.
Right.
I thought black people were illegal in Oregon.
And this didn't happen in Oregon.
No.
Why is that you just said everywhere?
Well, all over what was the United States, not the territories at the time.
Okay.
But it was happening where they were getting driven out of their own homes, and so there was an amendment put out that directly said they can protect their property. Like, all dude has to do is step a foot onto your land,
Right.
and
And then
that's his problem.
Right. Then they amended the law on that, saying, "Well, now you have to post it. That
But I
is
think
private
it's-
property," which I think is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
And but
hello,
there's
if
still
you
a
can't
state
tell the
where
difference
it's
between
very
where it's
much-
public property and your property, if you can't distinguish that between somebody else's property,
I don't know. Sometimes it gets kind of hard.
maybe it's time to get shot.
There's places where they don't have like fences up or anything. They just have a sign. And I've been out hiking and like been going along out and about, and all of a sudden I come across a no trespassing sign, and I'm just like, oh, my bad.
Of course, and that was also back when, there wasn't as much as far as fencing and things like
Right.
that. But this was specifically, and it happened a lot in more rural communities and stuff where pretty much everybody knows everybody,
Right.
and they're trying to drive you out of your home. I think it was.
I know I've been seeing stuff in the
What are
news
you
about
talking about,
forced
16?
evictions. Oh, hey, have you guys seen Lake Powell and the
No, that's
Colorado
the one about
River?
taxes. 16 is about taxes on
Okay.
incomes. Let's read it, shall we? The Congress shall have no power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived without gosh darn it, I can't talk.
Get your tongue untied there.
Apportionment
An apportionment.
among the several states and without regard to any census or enumeration.
Right.
So they found their loophole in that one.
Oh yeah. This is why we have millionaires in Congress. They're no longer
don't pay
serving
taxes.
who don't pay taxes, and they're no longer serving their constituents.
Oh,
They're serving themselves and their own
and
interests
their bank accounts.
and their bank accounts. I still think we need to have a public audit of Congress and the House.
Dude, how many of those people up in there are so old? In the, what is it, the Senate?
In the House and in the Senate. Oh yeah, they're in their 80s, 90s.
Yeah. They're like on their deathbed.
Right.
Straight up on their deathbed.
Yeah.
That's how Biden won. He appealed to the age group.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen?
They wiped my butt.
Yeah, my butt's been wiped. Meh. My butt's been wiped.
Yeah,
Have
my
you
butt's
guys-
been wiped.
Have you guys seen Lake Mead and the Colorado River recently? Oh, dude, it's pathetic. It's barely piddle. This is barely piddling water down.
Oh wow.
They're they have a couple dams on that river. I'm trying to remember the names of them. But their dams are currently operating at 30% effectiveness
Right.
or efficiency or something like that
Yeah.
because the water's just that low. And on top of that, LA had for a long time had that anti-eviction thing going on with the COVID stuff.
Right.
Now that it's coming down to the time where people need to start paying rent or get evicted or so on or so forth, they're having issues because of some of the policies and stuff they put in place.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Renters are having a really hard time getting rid of people,
Yeah.
and they're not paying their rent, and so there's been like this. But part of the reason why they're not paying their rent, it's not because they don't want to; it's because they can't.
Yeah.
A lot of them
yeah.
that really lost, a lot, and they're still trying to reel back.
See, they're trying to focus a lot on businesses. Let's focus on the individuals, all the people that lost their jobs.
Have you guys watched that interview with Rubin Report and Larry Elder?
No,
The recent one?
no, not yet.
He's talking about being governor
Right, right,
and all the weird crap that he has to go through just trying to run.
right.
But
They're trying to make
if
it
I
as
was in
difficult.
California, I'd vote for Larry Elder.
Oh yes, Larry Elder would be my vote. Take my vote. Yeah,
I don't know enough about him. I'll have to look him up later.
you'll like him. You'll like him. He comes with a strong character, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I find amazing? And I could be wrong here, but California is in debt by millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
Millions. This is a Democratic run state. All these people lost their jobs. So now he's just increased homelessness because they lost their house. They can't afford rent.
Dude, even like Venice Beach.
Yeah.
Oh, they just
It's
recently did a huge clearing of Venice Beach,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Yep.
guess it was it was a pretty hectic, like 2-week process.
Why? It's because these people have nowhere else to go. And the only ones that created that problem are Democratic policies. And the sooner people admit it, hey, we elected a Democrat.
It's the policies of the people that they have all voted for that made it sound really nice and then do nothing about it.
Right.
That is causing all their problems. There's the real systemic issues.
Yes.
I'm not saying there's not systemic anything, but they've twisted it to suit themselves. You know what I mean? So, anyways, there's a lot of them that are getting mugged because it's finally hitting them, whereas, like we experienced in Oregon with a lot of Californians coming up
Right.
and bringing a lot of their policies with them,
Right.
even though those are the policies that they were running from,
Yeah.
and it happens in other places that they go.
Yeah.
So it's not just us
No,
that
no.
feel that way.
No, there's people
Texas
all across the
is feeling it
country.
now too,
Yeah.
in certain areas.
Florida standing up.
Mhm.
I love Florida. I'm starting to think about maybe moving there. No, I love my
No.
bosses.
And I
They are
wouldn't.
the greatest
wanna
people
live in
on
Florida.
earth.
It's too close to my mom.
You know what's something I find funny? Because I've noticed that in the news recently,
I love my mom though.
the news has been trying to portray Florida as like this super spreader major
Oh,
COVID
yeah.
zone, and they're trying to play up the numbers of people who are sick. But yet, if you look around, you're not going to find the death total because the total of deaths are down extremely.
Right.
It's almost down to 0 at this
Yep.
point in time.
Yep.
And you notice they've really got to think about percentages, not actual numbers.
Right. Right.
Because you think about it, there's one person that has COVID,
Right.
and then the next day, there's another person that has COVID.
Right. It just jumped 100%.
That sounds really bad, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. See, that's what they don't want to
2
tell
days
you.
later, 4 days later, somebody ends up with COVID.
Right.
One person.
One person. Yeah.
Now it's gone up, what, 99%? 95%.
Right.
They'll use the numbers to their benefit to make
Oh,
it sound
yeah.
spookier.
To twist it to their narrative.
Oh, so there's a book that several years ago, Bill Gates suggested everyone to read, and it's called How to Lie with Statistics.
Yes.
He said it in his TED Talk. I bet he's forgotten that one now.
Oh.
How to Lie with Statistics.
Yeah, I
At
believe
that
it.
point, he recommended it for people to read.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Guess
I
who's
got
lying with statistics?
I got a statistic for us. Skinny, scrawny, old, wrinkly ass body person. Yeah.
That's the best you can come up with.
I'm trying to be nice so I don't get censored.
Correct.
Sucks to be that guy.
Damn it, Billy. Give me back my liquor.